Good morning. It is 7 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a great day so far. This has been a wild week. Today on the show, we got our friend Savanah Hernandez joining us. She's going to give us an update on that Jackson Hewitt filing taxes for illegal aliens story that she broke last week, and she'll be joining us at 10:30 to update us on that. Very much looking forward to it. Don't forget, tomorrow on the show, we're going to be doing this weekly, 10:05, a weekly White House wrap-up with our friend, White House reporter Monica Page, live from the North Lawn of the White House. And this week has been wild already. And it seems like the news cycle is just changing so fast. Like, I will talk about a topic, and then by the time Murphy is on the air, everything has changed, right? Like, everything. Yesterday, we were talking about China and tariffs and the was it 84% retaliatory tariff they were putting on us. By the time Murphy gets on the air, there is a 90-day pause on all the tariffs except for that 10% baseline. And China is now getting hit with 125% tariffs. It is a beautiful thing to watch. It does seem like 4D chess, and it looks like Trump has isolated China from the rest of the world. And that's what I was going to jump in and lead with today. Yet on my way in, we start seeing these inflation numbers coming out, and it looks good for Trump once again. This happened, and I guess the markets are down right now, but like chill, pause, relax, just take a deep breath once again. I think that's the best advice that you can have. Or maybe you take Donald Trump's advice that he gave you a couple days ago. You buy that dip. That might be the move. But, you know, last week when the market crashed, it was so crazy, so scary. We had that awesome jobs report number. Today, the markets are down a little bit as well, but we have an awesome inflation report coming in. CNBC was just all sorts of jazzed up about it moments ago.
Coming in under minus 1/10 on headline, minus 1/10. We're expecting the exact opposite. We were expecting up 1/10, minus 1/10. Well, we equal where we were in May of 2020 to find a lower number. Here all the way to April of 2020, the heavy COVID-affected months of the calendar. If we take food and energy out, still coming in on the under, up 1/10. We're expecting triple that number, up 1/10. Well, that would equal where we were in June of last year. To find a lower number would be zero in January of 21.
So these inflation numbers look just as good as they did right after Trump left office, before Biden crashed the economy and ruined the middle class with the Inflation Reduction Act that did nothing to reduce inflation, did everything to cause inflation. Wild stuff. The Trump administration is definitely taking a victory lap on this, as they should, and this is huge. This is going to help the middle class. We're excited about that here. I know you are as well. And listen, yesterday we watched what happened in real time, and it seems like the news today is going to be changing just as quickly, just as drastically. But that 0.1%, that's a big deal.
Consumer prices month over month. So this was actually a drop of 0.1%, negative 0.1%. That's the first time we've seen that since COVID. Year over year, the annual inflation rate was at 2.4%. This was also better than expected and a 6-month low, moving in the right direction. As far as why this happened, there's a few drivers. One thing that really played a role here, as you can see the trend here, the inflation rate dipping a little bit. One of the drivers was energy. The fact that gasoline prices did not move up like they usually do in the month of March, that really helped the inflation.
Oh, the energy helped the inflation. What have we been saying here for the longest time? The energy is going to ripple through the economy faster than anything else. And what are we seeing? Energy prices going down and it rippling through the economy faster than anything else. Now, again, we're still going to see this get better, I do believe. I mean, crude oil just went below $60 a barrel for the first time in years, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody is. We just saw Trump, was it 2 days ago, have that big the big press conference with all the miners behind him, not the miners like Joe Biden, but coal miners, and he's announcing, clean coal, an unleashing of coal energy. Massive. We're going to see the economy absolutely reflect these changes positively, and we're seeing it in real time. And then he still has work to do. He still has work to do. The White House wants to pass these big, beautiful bills. They want to get the Trump tax cuts extended, and they put this out, a new report from the Council of Economic Advisors, and it shows that extending the Trump tax cuts could raise real wages by as much as $3,300 a year, increase take-home pay for median income households by as much as $5,000 a year, boost short-run real GDP by 3.3 to 3.8%, and long-run real GDP by 2.6 to 3.2%. These Trump tax cuts could save 4.1 million jobs from being destroyed, and it'll invest as much as $100 billion in distressed communities. Now, those sound really good. The opposite of not getting the Trump tax cuts extended, are just as bad. If you don't extend these Trump tax cuts, the taxpayer is going to see a 22% tax hike. The average family of four will see a $1,700 tax hike. The child tax credit will be cut in half for 40 million families. Nearly every taxpayer will see their guaranteed deduction slashed in half. And 26 million small businesses will be saddled with a massive tax increase. You're looking at 4 to 6 million jobs lost, including, they're saying, 1 million manufacturing jobs. We need to continue on with the Trump agenda is essentially what I'm letting you know. This is a plan that he has, and it's absolutely a plan. A lot of the left will try and tell you that Donald Trump is just throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what will stick. But I do believe he has a strategy. Now, he's not public with the strategy, and it doesn't mean that the strategy is going to work every single time. But he's going in with a very well-formulated plan. At least it appears that way. And I don't know how you can make the argument that he doesn't have a well-formulated plan. We're seeing a lot of things happening at once, but I don't think any of these things are happening by accident. I don't. And what we saw yesterday, isolating China from the rest of the world, was master class. And it's good to see that we have adults back in the White House, right? Remember when they told us Biden was the adult back in the White House? No. China's very upset. They're more than upset. Donald Trump said, listen, I understand that, but somebody had to do it. And he looked up and he said, here I am, Lord, send me. This is Donald Trump yesterday talking about the tariff pause and China's retaliation.
Mr. President, was there anyone who influenced your decision? Did you speak with anyone, Jamie Dimon? Did you speak with anyone?
Well, I watched Jamie Dimon on Maria Bartiromo's show this morning, and he was very good. He said that, actually made the statement to effect that something had to be done with the tariffs and trade. He said that. He said, look, at some point, but he said something has to be done with tariffs and trade. He understood it. He's very smart and very a genius financially. He's done a fantastic job at the bank. And he knows that. Everybody knows that. Anybody that's even a little bit smart knows it. It wasn't sustainable what was happening. Somebody had to pull the trigger. I was willing to pull the trigger. This should have been done long ago. Just like Biden should have stopped the border long ago. I mean, allowed 21 million people plus into our country, many of whom should never have been allowed out of prisons and jails. They came out of prisons and jails from all over the world, and now we're getting them out, bringing them back to their countries. But it's should have never been done.
Should have been done a long time ago. Somebody needed to pull the trigger. I'm the guy to pull the trigger. Trump knew what he wanted to do. He had 4 years in the White House. Then he had an even longer 4 years watching the disaster that was Joe Biden and his regime. And now he's getting in with a much different game plan than we saw in his first term. I just believe he's way more calculated. And he has the right people around him to help him currently. Now, the left will tell you that what Trump is doing is damaging the country. Chuck Schumer. This was yesterday, and this is as the markets were surging, mind you, after the pause of the 90-day pause of tariffs. Chuck Schumer gets on TV and he says what happens now or in the future, there's no undoing the damage of the Trump slump.
So look, you can't undo the damage. The Trump slump is upon us now, and whatever he will try to do in the future does not undo the damage.
No, it doesn't undo the damage. Whatever he does, nothing can change the damage he's been done. That's been done by Donald Trump. It's like, oh, is job reports numbers being up damaging? Is inflation being down damaging? I'm not a finance guy. I don't know. Maybe we want inflation way up, I guess, and maybe we want jobs way down. Does that make sense to anybody? The damage is not going to be undone. And he's focusing on the stock market, this guy is. And old Chucky's probably got a lot in the stock market, and he's probably feeling it in his pocketbook. But the reality is, if you zoom out on that graph, you know, the 10-year picture of the Dow looks great, actually. And I understand the stress, and I understand that it might be a little bit uneasy when you're relying on those 401ks currently, or you're planning to be cashing out here soon. That this might drive up the anxiety a little bit, but I would just say stay calm, stay patient. I think that we're going to see a lot of positive benefits from this. Scott Bessent said, listen, you know, he's not certain about a lot of things, and he thinks that they're making the right moves. But he said yesterday what he is certain about is that what the moves that they're making is going to hurt China's economy far more than it'll ever hurt our economy.
Mr. Secretary, Maggie, go ahead. Mr. Secretary, why do people assume this is the last word? The president began this morning saying, be cool. 5 hours later, he announces a new policy. Why will investors in the market assume that this is it?
Because, again, as I said, we've given 90 days, and the only certainty we can provide is that the U.S. is going to negotiate in good faith, and we assume that our allies will too. And in terms of certainty, we will see what China does. But what I'm certain of is that what China is doing will affect their economy much more than it will ours, because they have an export-driven, flood the world with cheap export models, and the rest of the world now understands, because when we put up our tariff wall, those exports were already flowing to the rest of the G7 and to the global south.
This will hurt China much more than it will hurt us. That's Scott Bessent, and that's what he's going with. I tend to agree. I think Scott's a smart guy. I do. And yes, I think this is going to hurt China more than anybody else. Also, one of the underrated aspects of all of this is that when he levied all these tariffs against all these countries, everybody's like, whoa, 30% here, 40% here, 67% here. This is crazy. And then when he pulls them back with this 90-day pause and he leaves that 10% baseline tariff, which wasn't there in the beginning anyway, all of a sudden everybody's fine with that. They're like, no, that's great. That is totally chill. We are good with that 10% baseline tariff. We're watching the art of the deal in real time. We're watching this, and maybe and I'm kicking myself for this too. It was like a couple days back, Trump on True Social says now's the time to buy. And yeah, a lot of people that did listen to that advice made a lot of money in the stock market yesterday. We'll let you know what happens with the stock market today. It does seem like things aren't off to the best start, but chill. Stay patient. I think we're going to see a lot of benefits out of this. Now, when you ask the left, they tend to disagree. Adam Schiff is saying this is insider trading. Is that what we're doing? The Democrats now care about insider trading? Yeah, paging Nancy Pelosi. Well, I'll play you these clips from Adam Schiff when we get back. Pencil neck, Adam Schiff. It's 9:21. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Better Water LLC. We talk about these guys a lot. They sponsor the show. I love them. Patriots. And if you don't know what's in your water, you need to call Better Water LLC. You might be thinking, my water's fine. What are you worried about? Are you sure? Are you sure? A lot of this stuff is undetectable. And a lot of this stuff that could be in your water, the water you're drinking, the water you're making coffee with, the water you're bathing in, you're bathing your kids, your grandkids in, could be nasty. I'm talking about sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli, a lot of gross stuff in the water. And our friends at Better Water LLC will test your water for free to give you that peace of mind. And maybe you need to clean it up. And you might need to clean it up whether you have a well or city water. Well, the guys at Better Water, they'll offer a full range of treatment options for you, from reverse osmosis units to specialized filters, UV lights, you name it. All you got to do is call Craig and Brandy today. They'll hook you up with a free water test. 615-355-6063, 615-355-6063, or you can go to betterwater.com to learn more. Make sure you let them know that Chris Hand sent you. 615-355-6063, betterwater.com.
Hey, we'll tell you what China just announced that'll hurt a little bit in Hollywood and what to expect from this afternoon's round of thunderstorms. Those stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Wait a second. Who Who made that announcement? Oh.
Exactly.
Joan
Yeah.
will fill us in on what those guys are doing momentarily. I'm going to fill you in on what the Democrats are doing. They're very upset. Adam Schiff, he found some reporters, and he said, do you see what's going on with the Trump administration? Do you see this? This must be insider trading.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation, and are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting from it?
Absolutely. I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in?
Everybody knew that this was going to come. You see, Trump put on Truth Social, this is a great time to buy. Everybody was given a heads up. Did we listen? No, I didn't listen. I should have listened. He said yesterday morning, be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. And the day before, this is a great time to buy. Adam Schiff is now concerned about insider trading. The same Adam Schiff who cozies up to Nancy Pelosi.
There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute. So we're going to try to find out.
There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, though, right?
Yeah, I hope they do. There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, right? Yeah. There's a chance of that. Chuck Schumer was very, very upset as well. He put out a nice video on social media, and he did the thing that the influencers are doing now, where like you get the lapel mic, right, that clips onto your shirt, but you hold it. And they, like, I don't know why the Democrats have like just glommed onto this, but you can see this in a lot of their new videos that they put out on social media. They're like, look at me. I'm just like one of the Gen Zers, and I'm going to hold my lapel mic with two fingers and my thumb. And that's the new move. You'll see it on Super Talk TV, exactly what I'm talking about. But nothing about the Democrats are authentic whatsoever. But Chuck Schumer puts out this video, and he says, Trump is actually in retreat now.
Donald Trump is now in retreat because Democrats in the Senate and the House and the American people have said, stop playing games with these tariffs.
Do you think Trump is in retreat?
He's all over the place. Like he's everywhere you look.
He's full steam ahead.
Yeah.
He's got 75 plus countries calling to negotiate. He got the entire world to completely forget about the fact that we added a baseline tariff to everything, and everybody's fine with that now. Like, he's in retreat? That's not how I would describe it. We'll talk about it more on the flip side. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Couple of trouble spots in Brentwood this morning. 65 northbound lane at Concord Road, exit 71. A crash there, taking out the right shoulder. And then a crash involving some injuries, too, on Old Hickory Boulevard at Oaks Drive. Careful around that area. We have new developments in the tariff tiff. China now saying it'll cut the number of American movies shown in its country in retaliation to President Trump's tariffs. A spokesman for the China Film Authority saying this morning it'll open its market to more filmmakers from other parts of the world to meet market demand. China is also accusing the U.S. of using tariffs as a weapon to exert maximum pressure for its own selfish gains. China's also accusing the U.S. of violating World Trade Organization rules, and it calls the U.S. a bully. Well, thunderstorms arriving this afternoon. It's a level 2 out of 5 west of Nashville and south of I-40, and a level 1 everywhere else. Stefano DiPietro with the timing.
Rough timeline here between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock this evening. And the main focus, still gusty winds, maybe some good size hail. Heavy rainfall is not a massive concern for us. There could be some downpours that maybe cause some ponding, but no big flooding issues. The tornado threat is very, very low. Oh, so close to zero, but still something we don't want to completely ignore.
And keep it here. We'll keep on top of it today. The Country Music Hall of Fame announcing a new Dolly Parton exhibit. On display will be the notes scribbled on a piece of paper. They were the lyrics to the song Jolene. Her Kennedy Center Honors Medallion, a 1930s Gibson guitar gifted to her by her brother Floyd, and the tape recorder she used while writing Jolene. And of course, there'll be some more of her dazzling outfits. Let's take a look at stocks right now. Dow Jones Industrials minus 814, NASDAQ down 526, S&P is down 134 points. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. How are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. You can listen to the show anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial, the 99.7 WTN app. You can watch us on Super Talk TV. That's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. I do appreciate it. Chucky Schumer says Donald Trump is in retreat.
Donald Trump is now in retreat because Democrats in the Senate and the House and the American people have said, stop playing games with these tariffs.
Oh, he's in retreat. He's in retreat, they say. 7546 on the text line said, Chris, Trump isn't in retreat. He's just lapped the Democrats. They're so far behind now, it looks like he's retreating. It's a nice. I'm using that. So I did. It's a good comment. Appreciate it. 615-737-9986. If you want to join the show on the phones or the text line, let's listen to more of Chucky.
You think it's a game. You think it's like red light, green light. It's not. It's chaos.
He's channeling his inner DMX right there. It's not a bleeping game. Is that what he's doing? Am I the only one that gets the reference? Maybe.
And the damage you have done already, despite today's announcement, is permanent and real and deep. You're throwing our whole economy out of kilter. You're telling business people and consumers to not spend because they don't know what the heck is coming out next. What you're doing, Donald Trump, is hurting the American people as you play games. Whatever.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like there was old videos of Chuck Schumer floating around on the internet being supportive of Donald Trump's tariffs from his first term when he was going after China. And now he's going after China, and Chucky Schumer, he doesn't like it. There's lots of old clips of Chucky Schumer advocating for tariffing China from back in, was it 2005? He was passionately advocating for a 27.5% tariff on China 20 years ago. 20 years ago he was. Now it's going to throw the economy into a tailspin. Now going after China is an issue. Yet again, this is Chucky back when he had brown hair.
Chinese, enough already. It says to the Chinese that their unfair trade policies have got to end. It says to the Chinese, this is a shot across your bow. Reform, because if you don't, there are going to be dramatic consequences throughout the world, in our country, and in your country as well.
So, Mr. Schumer, I would just want to know what made you change your mind. Now, listen, everybody can change their mind over time. 20 years, long time. I just want to know what in this particular case made you flippy-floppy on this. Was it the TDS and it's just Orange Man bad and it's such a bad case that no matter what Trump does, even if he advocates for things that you used to be for, you're going to say that you're against it? Or and maybe my tinfoil's too tight here, or are you making too much money with the CCP and now CCP good? It's worth asking the question. I don't know. That's Chuck. That's Chuck for you. Classic Chuck, just quoting DMX in his little Twitter videos. Carolyn Levitt said yesterday, listen, you're missing the art of the deal. This is what we're watching, and you clearly didn't read the book.
If I could just, excuse me, Raquel, if I could just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect. The entire world is calling the United States of America, not China, because they need our markets, they need our consumers, and they need this president in the Oval Office to talk to them. And that's exactly why more than 75 countries have called, because the United States of America is the best place in the world to do business. And as the president has shown great courage, as the secretary has said, in choosing to retaliate against China even higher. Elena.
You're missing the art of the deal, Chuck. Or maybe you're just lying to your constituents and your voters to keep up the facade a little bit longer. This is hurting China a lot. China's essentially crying. The Chinese finance ministry announced an 84% retaliatory tariff on Wednesday, several hours ahead of an expected retaliation from the European Union. China said it was inevitable that it would run a trade surplus against the United States, and it has the determination and means to keep fighting back against Trump's tariffs. And I would say, for how long? For how long? Then they went on to say that this escalation was a mistake on top of a mistake, and China's legitimate rights and interests, it infringes upon that, and that it gravely undermines the rules-based multilateral trading system. Now China cares about the rules. They care about the rules. Are we going to believe this? They say China urges the U.S. to immediately correct its wrong practices, cancel all unilateral tariff measures against China, and properly resolve the differences with China through equal dialogue on the basis of mutual respect. Donald Trump has been saying, call. We'll graciously accept the call. And then they went on to say that this is really bullying, guys. Yep. China is accusing the Trump administration of bullying. Oh, so sad. So sad. Didn't China used to want to appear strong? Now they're the victim. Is that what we're doing? You guys are the victim now. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. You want to play the victim? Play the victim. Howard Lutnick talking about China and the path that they chose, and he said, "Listen, they chose the path to go against Donald Trump. They didn't have to choose this path. Trump said, don't retaliate, and everything will be fine. We'll negotiate." China was the only country that didn't listen.
Well, I think China chose the path of going against Donald Trump. I mean, he said, don't retaliate. If you retaliate, then you're going to feel my wrath. And that's what happened. They retaliated. So then Donald Trump came back, and then they went back, and Donald Trump comes back again. You know, the fact is either China's going to come to the table and make the right deal with Donald Trump, or they're not. And they are. I mean, remember, China has a $295 billion trade deficit with us, but they also go through all these other countries. They go through Vietnam, they go through Thailand, they go through Malaysia. These were all sort of like tariff runarounds where they go to Vietnam and then go to America. So, you know, if you add that all up, it's just under $1 trillion that China sells to us, more than net we sell to them. And that is just not sustainable. The president knows it. The president is calling it out. And either China comes to the table with Donald Trump or they don't. But let's be clear, we are their biggest client by far, by far, by far. The American consumer buys everything from China. They can't afford to be without us, and that's where we are today.
And I think China understands that. That's why they said that the latest tariff increase was a hegemonic and bullying move. Oh, is China getting bullied? Oh, no. Oh, no. Anything but that. It's just hilarious. The entire thing is you're getting bullied. They're complaining about being bullied. China's complaining about being bullied. I'm here for it. And I think we should make bullying great again. And when it comes to these countries like China, I say bully away by all means. But Trump has been pretty clear about what he wanted to do, right? He's been pretty honest about resetting the global market, even back when he was campaigning. He laid all of this out. I don't understand the shock and the surprise and the feigning and the outrage. It just seems like an act. Like we voted for this. We knew this was coming. We signed up to do this. And maybe the left doesn't realize that Donald Trump isn't like other politicians. He's going to keep his promises that he makes on the campaign trail. Or maybe they're woefully ignorant. But I tend to think that they're a bit more evil than stupid. Trump told you what was going to happen, and nobody listened.
My other wonder is, I wonder if they just hated him during the campaign instead of paying attention to his policies. That's why they hate him.
Maybe.
It's like, oh,
maybe
if we had paid attention to what he was going to do, we could have made a better decision. But instead, we just hated him for being him.
The only major loss that I can see coming out of this is pissing off younger voters, because it looks like a China TikTok deal is going to be off the table for the foreseeable future. Like honestly, out of all the losses that we could take, I think that might be the biggest L that we're going to piss off younger voters by having their TikTok lost. And the who was it? It was Fox Business had a story saying that deal is completely off the table for the foreseeable future and maybe forever. China has announced that it's willing to negotiate tariffs, but they will continue to fight to the end if the U.S. refuses to compromise. Okay. President Trump was talking in the Oval Office yesterday about the social media post announcing the tariffs, and he said, I wrote it from the heart, which is just so good.
I would say this morning, over the last few days, I've been thinking about it. I've been dealing with Scott, with Howard, with some other people that are very professional, and I think it probably came together fairly early this morning. Just wrote it up. We didn't have the use of, we didn't have access to lawyers, or we wrote it up from our hearts, right?
He's talking about a tweet. We didn't have access to lawyers or anything. We just sent him a message from the heart on True Social about tariffs. Have you seen any of the behind the scenes footage of Donald Trump with his Truth Social posts? Like, he does it all himself. He'll be sitting there and there'll be somebody next to him that will type it up, but he's just like, "Oh, say this." It's like, no, say it this way. And he does it all, and it comes from the heart. It comes from the heart. Fact check true.
It was written from the heart, and I think it was well written too. But
he's so humble. He's the most humble president we've ever had. It was from the heart, and it was pretty fantastic.
It was written from the heart. It was written as something that I think was very positive for the world and for us. And we don't want to hurt countries that don't need to be hurt, and they all want to negotiate. The only problem is, you can only do so many at one time. We want to do it right. We want to get it right. We want to take care of them, but we have to take care of our country. So, but this was something certainly we've been talking about for a period of time, and we decided to pull the trigger. And we did it today, and we're happy about it. I didn't know it would have that kind of an impact, but it's, I think we have the biggest increase in the history of the stock market. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day yesterday. We're watching the markets today, and it does appear that they're a bit down, but hey, we'll continue to monitor. Take a deep breath. The stock market isn't always real life, and it'll smooth out. It'll smooth out. One of the things that I've learned the most from Paul Winkler is his just chill for a second attitude. Like don't knee jerk. Don't lose your cool. Just if you're freaking out about the stock market, chill for a second. If something bad is happening in the stock market, that doesn't mean that there's no good happening in the stock market. Like there's opportunities in certain places. You just have to know where to look. And not part of like the commercials, but honestly, that's why I work with Paul. I trust him for that. It's one of the best things that he taught me. Besant was talking about Trump and China, and he said, "Listen, Trump goaded them into a bad position. Make no mistake about it. This was a strategy, and it was a strategy that was executed damn near flawlessly, according to Scott Besant. And he says that, this was the game plan, and China was goaded into doing what they did."
As I said, we've given 90 days, and the only certainty we can provide is that the U.S. is going to negotiate in good faith, and we assume that our allies will too. And in terms of certainty, we will see what China does. But what I'm certain of is that what China is doing will affect their economy much more than it will ours, because they have an export-driven, flood the world with cheap export models, and the rest of the world now understands, because when we put up our tariff wall, those exports were already flowing to the rest of the G7 and to the global south.
And you think Mr. Secretary, how much of this decision was driven by the bond market cratering overnight? What is happening with bonds? Is China selling their bonds?
I have nothing that says that, and we actually had quite a good 10-year auction today, and all this was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along, and that you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position. They responded. They have shown themselves to the world to be the bad actors.
Nailed it. Trump goaded them into a bad position, and they have exposed themselves to the world as bad actors. And in one fell swoop, he has isolated China from the rest of the world. Chess, not checkers. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, there's a big powwow taking place this hour in Washington, D.C. Tell you all about it. Also, what time do we expect thunderstorms to arrive around here today? Those stories at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. So are you getting your news from Stefano DiPietro?
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
if he's wrong on the weather, can we call him out on that tomorrow during the cross with Dan?
Sure. You go ahead and do that.
All right. Take notes.
I'll sit that out.
Take notes for me.
Yeah.
You take the notes. I'll do the calling out.
All right.
No, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
Me too.
Scott Bissent says it's enough time. We spent enough time on Wall Street, and it's time to get back to focusing on Main Street in this country.
For the last 4 decades, basically since I began my career in Wall Street has grown wealthier than ever before, and it can continue to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, the Trump agenda is focused on Main Street. It's Main Street's turn. It's Main Street's turn to hire workers. It's Main Street's turn to drive investment. And it's Main Street's turn to restore the American dream.
It's refreshing to hear the guy say that, is it not? I mean, he's speaking to the American Bankers Association. This is yesterday. And he's saying it's Main Street's turn. It's not Wall Street's turn. It's Main Street's turn. It is an absolutely different approach to the economy than we've seen in a very long time. And I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for it. We're watching the art of the deal in real time. Just in moments ago, the EU has announced that they are going to be matching Donald Trump's 90-day pause on tariffs taking effect. Ursula von der Leyen, the EU president, said, we want to give negotiations a chance. This is good. This is good. J.D. Vance on Twitter moments ago saying a lot of people want to see this trade war with China escalate into an actual war. He posted this. There's a category of DC insider who wants to fight an actual war with China, but also wants China to manufacture much of our critical supply. This is insane. President Trump wants peace, but also wants fair trade and more self-reliance for the American economy. I'm here for it. It's 9:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The White House has just put out a statement that says it is clarifying its tariffs on China. The China total is now 145%. Again, that was a clarification from the White House with really no explanation, but it did do something to stocks. The Dow Jones Industrials right now down 1,072 points. Also, the NASDAQ losing 650 and the S&P 500 index down 174 points. President Trump calling a cabinet meeting today. That'll begin any moment now. That meeting comes after President Trump's announcement of that 90-day pause on his sweeping reciprocal tariffs with the exception of China. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's worked out a compromise for the Senate's budget blueprint for President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
I'm happy to tell you that this morning I believe we had the votes to finally adopt the budget resolution so we can move forward on President Trump's very important agenda for the American people.
The Senate version also federal spending by cut federal spending by $4 billion. But it wasn't enough for some conservative House members. ABC reports that Johnson has now pledged to increase those cuts to $1.5 trillion to gain support. In Tennessee, a House committee has passed an amendment to the Tennessee Constitution that would remove the right to bail for some serious crimes, including the act of terrorism and aggravated rape of a child. The amendment would also require judges to explain in writing why they're denying bail. Thunderstorms arriving this afternoon, a level 2 out of 5 west of Nashville and south of I-40, and a 1 out of 5 for everyone else. Stefano DiPietro with the timing of it.
Rough timeline here between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock this evening. And the main focus, still gusty winds, maybe some good size hail. Heavy rainfall is not a massive concern for us. There could be some downpours that maybe cause some ponding, but no big flooding issues. The tornado threat is very, very low. oh so close to zero, but still something we don't want to completely ignore.
Yeah, so keep it here. We'll keep on top of it today. Here in the Mid-State, police want you to be on the lookout for a young boy who went missing from his home in Memphis yesterday. 5-year-old Caden Nolan is black. He was wearing a red Spider-Man shirt and black pants, and the family said he wasn't wearing shoes when he went missing. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. One more peek at the markets here in the Dow Jones Industrials down 1,068. That's the latest news. Weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
.1006 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Patriots that support the show, so we support them. You can watch the show on Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. One of the added bonuses of watching the show is we bring video elements and graphic elements to the stream that you just can't see on the radio because it's an audio medium. But this tweet from J.D. Vance, man, I've been digging in on this. So J.D. put this out this morning at about 8:47 a.m. our time, and he said there's a category of D.C. insider who wants to fight an actual war with China, but also wants China to manufacture much of our critical supply. This is insane. President Trump wants peace, but also wants fair trade and more self-reliance for the American economy. There's quite a gang of people who think kinetic war with China is going to be the end-all, be-all to this. And it's not going to work out if we build all of our things in China. It's just not. We're not stronger when our greatest adversary is building things that are critical to us for war fighting. No, it's not actually good at all. But decoupling from China has to be one of the biggest focuses. And people will say, Do you have any idea how long it'll take to decouple from China? Do you have any idea? We're talking years, decades. Oh, it just to even build the buildings and hire the employees, it's going to take so long. Well, Peter Navarro was actually on Fox News yesterday. This was ABC, and he said, no, it's actually not going to take that long. Believe it or not. And you can look at the historical evidence from what we were able to do during COVID on how fast we can move. Navarro said that we're going to do this in Trump time, the decoupling from China.
I challenge your assumption that it takes years. Okay, it's not going to take years. We do this in Trump time. That means as quickly as possible. That means as quickly as possible.
I just love that. We're going to do this in Trump time. We're not going to do this in the amount of time that it used to take things to be accomplished. We're going to do this in Trump time. And if you've seen what Trump has done over the first 12 weeks of his presidency, you're starting to grasp what Trump time looks like.
During the first term, I was the defense policy coordinator. I was the guy who was helping the president try to get things like ventilators and N95 masks to the people as quickly as possible. Honeywell comes to me and says, we got to get 2 factories done, and it's going to take maybe 6 to 8 months or more. We got them done in 2 months.
Oh, that's pretty good, right? Under schedule, under budget.
And then General Motors, ventilators, 14 days we were producing ventilators in the Midwest right now, around the Michigan area, Indiana, all the places where autos and auto parts are made. There's very low capacity utilization of our auto factories. There's auto parts factories, which all you have to do is go on and take the cobwebs and dust away, and you can start those up again. This is going to move very, very fast. With respect to the inflation issue and whether consumers are going to pay for this, we have the experience of the first term. What happens is the exporters to us eat most of any tariff.
And they have the evidence to support that from the first term. I love what he says, though, about the essentially cobweb-ridden factories in the Midwest. It's not going to take as long as you think it is to decouple from China because we have a lot of these facilities already there. They just need to be correctly utilized. They just need to be repurposed. We're not starting from a position of scratch. And he makes the argument when they did have to start from scratch, they said it would take 8 months. It took 2. We're going to do this in Trump time. He brings up inflation, and he says, a lot of these consumers with the tariffs are going to eat this cost. We saw that in the first term. We're also seeing just fantastic inflation numbers today, coming in way lower than they expected. We're going to do this in Trump time.
Why do they do that? They have to do that, Lindsay. I mean, think about it. They're export dependent. They have nowhere to go other than us for selling goods, and so they eat it. That's what happened, particularly with China in the first term. You got to remember, Lindsay, I don't know if you're around for the first term. You probably had people on your show. They said all the same thing, inflation, inflation, inflation. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So you have to take that with a grain of salt and understand the underlying economics. The other thing that happens is currency adjustments. Our currency is going to get stronger. That's what happens when the trade deficit goes down. What does that mean? That means that we have more purchasing power to buy those imports. So that happens, and then supply chains adjust, and then investment comes here. The end game, Lindsay, the end game is to have production here. Any country that wants to produce here doesn't pay a tariff. That's the ultimate solution.
That's the ultimate solution. The focus is going to be on Main Street. Mike in Spring Hill wants to add to the conversation. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I just started listening, and you made the comment, or who made the comment they're going to concentrate on Main Street instead of Wall Street?
That was Scott Bessent.
Yeah, I do not care for that guy one bit. Number one, I am a Trump supporter.
Okay.
I'm part of Main Street, but I'm also part of Wall Street. I'm retired. I have a fixed income, and I'm going to take one hell of a hit this month if things keep going. So it just seems like he has a lackadaisical attitude towards the common person who has some money in the stock market. Everybody has money in it. basically.
But okay, so how long have you been paying into your 401k and your stock portfolios?
Oh gosh, 38 years.
Is it higher now than it was 38 years ago?
Yeah, but everything's higher than it was 38 years ago.
But we're you zoom out on the 10-year though, and the Dow looks great. Everything looks great. I think that we need to just calm down a little bit on these daily fluctuations and wait and see what the end result is in a month or two.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But when they say concentrate on Main Street, not Wall Street, you have to do both.
Well,
you just can't throw Wall Street.
I hear you, but we've been throwing out Main Street for quite a long time. Main Street got absolutely pummeled during COVID. Main Street got pummeled because of NAFTA. These things are just absolute facts.
Yeah.
And I think
too.
But I think what he's saying is he's going to right the wrongs that have been done to Main Street. And I think that that's the focus. Not that there's going to be a lackadaisical approach to the market. I think that these guys are very conscious of the market. I just think that they're going to put a hyper focus on righting the wrongs of administrations past.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right. But I've watched him on some talk shows, and to me, he's not very clear.
Scott Bessent, really? Really?
That's what I think.
Okay, I tend to like him a lot, man, and I think it takes a lot of spine to get up there in front of the American Association of Bankers and tell them we're not going to prioritize you guys. We're going to prioritize the American people.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right.
Hey, me too. Me too, Mike. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Brian in Nashville. What's up, Brian?
Hey, bro. Mike's the problem. We got to have support for Trump's agenda, and it's going to be some pain. But I think he run his campaign telling everything he's doing, and you shouldn't have voted for him if you thought he was kidding.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say Mike's the problem. Like, I understand where you're at if you're retiring and you're on a fixed income, and I understand the anxiety. I understand the stress. But I tend to lean in your camp, Brian, and maybe it's just because I'm not in that position currently. Maybe it's like my own bias getting in the way. But I just think chill for a second. Let's see how this plays out.
That's exactly right. I'm retired. I'm 65 years old. My portfolio that I used to have, because I'm spending it now, which is okay. I mean, I knew what I was going to do, but I was a financial services guy, so I'm a little bit more savvy, maybe only because of experience and training. But here's the thing. He's brilliant. Trump and the guys that he surrounded himself with are brilliant people. If we will sit back and let this play out, Biden killed us. He says it all the time. He left a mess. He's the most I got a T-shirt I'm having made that says guilty of treason, and it shows Biden's picture. and Trump has just now really picked up on that word because it's a heavy word. It really is.
Yep.
You know that.
Yep.
You're very reasonable when you talk about this stuff, and I think at your age, and you've mentioned you and your family and how y'all found a financial services guy, but you've got a good base, and you will do well. But you're not stupid. You know there will be ups and downs, and if you're not prepared for that, then get out.
Yeah. No.
Sit on the sidelines and count your cash, and that way, then you let all the inflation that Biden created, it'll eat it up. If you think Trump's eating it up.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brian, and I appreciate the call, man. It's like we have to get back to Main Street. We don't make anything here. The status quo is not going to continue to work. The status quo is pointing us towards an actual kinetic conflict with China where we don't build anything. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was talking about that. We don't build anything in America anymore. We don't build ships. In 2022, we built 5 ships. China built 1,800.
Shipbuilding, okay? A little off page on the market and tariffs, but we don't build ships in America anymore. In 2022, we built 5 ships. 5. China built 1,800 ships in 2022, right? So if you want to be a global power, you have to build ships and you have to have sailors to sail those ships. And so the president today said, you know what? We are going to actually build ships in America again, and we're going to train the mariners to sail those ships. So DOT has a huge component of that. we're excited. But this president, he thinks long-term and strategically and understands that if there's a crisis in the world that involves our military, we need ships to support the military on the commerce side, and we don't make them anymore. So, again, that was great. But
this president thinks long-term and strategically. I think that's the point I want to highlight from that Duffy bit, is Trump is thinking long-term and strategically. Short-term pain, short-term annoyance, short-term anxiety, yes, I understand all of that. But Trump is thinking long-term and strategically. And you're seeing a lot of companies making moves to navigate these tariff waters. You saw Amazon canceling wholesale orders of products made in China. You saw Apple moving cargo planes of iPhones out of India and China before these tariffs went into effect. And we're seeing a lot of investment in America under Trump and these policies, this atmosphere that he's creating. He was talking about that investment yesterday in the Oval Office. And he's like, guys, do you understand the investment we have? Private investment alone, more than Joe Biden had in 4 years already.
You've procured a record amount of private sector investments since your election, $7 trillion. You talked about the importance of all that. Can you talk about how these investments will have a positive impact on families who felt like the previous economy left them behind, and why your executive orders on coal yesterday is so important given the amount of manufacturing that you're ushering back in?
But thank you. And which is correct. We have, I would say, more than $7 trillion now, right, of investment coming in. Apple is coming in for $500 billion alone. We have other companies coming in with massive numbers. We have car companies that are coming in. No, we've never seen anything like it. Maybe in the 1940s or 50s or something, but we've never seen anything like it. They had 3 plants canceled in Mexico. Not that we want to hurt Mexico, but we're for us.
We're for us. America first. This is the move. This is what the movement has been about. This is what the people voted for. This is what was promised, and this is what's being delivered. I understand there's some people out there that are unhappy with their 401k. Kenny in Franklin is one of those people. What's up, Kenny?
Hey, I love your attitude about Main Street versus Wall Street. And I'll say this. Why does everyone have a 401k? Why does everybody have an IRA? It's because the private sector worked with the government to set that up. So everybody has one. That's why it's headlines that when the stock market goes down. And so I think the prevailing attitude, and historically what we've seen, is Wall Street's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Main Street's hurting.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is Trump has built, he's done a lifetime of building beautiful projects, successful builder. What's the first step of every project? Demolition.
Yep. Nailed it.
You either tear something down or you gut it to start.
Yep.
And then you build something beautiful.
You can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, Kenny. I appreciate the call, man. It is 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand, and I want to tell you about my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. I'm actually going to go hang out with Shane next week. Shane's a good guy. Shane's a guy that you want to be around. And Shane can actually save you a lot of money when it comes to your health insurance coverage. And he's built this base of knowledge from 20 years of experience and working with over 75 different companies to shop every type of plan available in the market for you. And he can help you no matter what your income level is or no matter what your health situation is. And he could be saving you some good I got to talk. Some good coin. Don't let yourself or someone you know get fooled by these call center agents with limited coverage, overpriced coverage. Shane's not going to do that for you. Shane can easily save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. And a lot of these plans will even pay you when you use them. Give Shane a call today and let him know that Chris Hand sent you. He's going to show you how much you could be saving, and he's going to get you an even better plan than you have right now. Reach Shane at 615-465-0023 or go to covernash.com. That's 615-465-0023 to book an appointment with Shane Ring. Get a quality health plan managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
China wants President Trump to meet them halfway. And Doge takes a dive into unemployment claims. We'll tell you what they came up with. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'd love for you to keep up with me when I'm not doing the show. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram. All of them are the same, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. And if I don't follow back for some reason, it's probably because you look like a Russian bot. So just send me a message and say, dude, you didn't follow me, and I'll make sure to follow you. At Chris Hand on air on all the major platforms. On the way, less than 10 minutes, we got Savanah Hernandez joining the show, and I'm excited to talk with Sav. She's got an update on this report that she had. Do you remember this report where they had Jackson Hewitt outside of the Migrant hotels in New York City saying, hey, guys, file your taxes and we can get you a big return.
We do this stuff like this, like at all the shelters and stuff.
But like our company, this is why we try to help people by, providing them with refunds,
This is Savanah Hernandez in front of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. Now, we wanted to come check in on the migrant crisis, and as we were walking around, we saw a Jackson Hewitt table out here with an employee who was handing out this flyer. Now, what this flyer says is working or not, file your taxes, and we can get the maximum refund for your family.
Working or not, file your taxes and we'll get the maximum refund for your family. It's an interesting story. Savanah Hernandez is going to provide us an update after the news with Joan Jones. And I wonder, how do these illegals, how do they file taxes? Well, it's funny you should ask. Over 2 million illegal aliens got Social Security numbers in 2024, according to DOJ. I'll say that again. Over 2 million. Actually, let me be specific. 2,095,247 illegal aliens were issued Social Security numbers in fiscal year 2024. The report says non-citizens, so some of these may have been parolees and stuff, but there was a Wisconsin town hall event, and DOJ revealed that. Something I'm going to ask Savanah Hernandez. Do you think some of these 2 million are filing their taxes today? Probably. Once a non-citizen is released into the country, either through asylum or other means, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765. It's a work from home. That's the work form, and you get this another form called the 766. That's the authorization. And then the Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number, no interview, no ID. And DOJ reported that they found 1.3 million non-citizens also on Medicaid, and that some were registered to vote and had voted. What a shocker. We'll talk to Savanah Hernandez about all of this. Sav, I was just texting with her. I said, yo, you going to jump on Zoom? She said, I can't this time. I'm sorry. I was up way too late. My baby was teething. And I said, you got to get the amber necklace. Have you heard of the amber necklaces? But you don't have kids, so why would you hear about the amber necklace? Nah. Put this one in your back pocket for later.
Good to know.
Teething issues, those amber necklaces, not a meme. It worked for all 4 of my kids.
Interesting.
It's just a necklace, little amber on it, and it's anecdotal evidence. But like my first kid, we would do the. She would have fevers, Kennedy, and she'd be up in the middle of the night screaming. We got one of those amber necklaces because a friend told us, and we put it on. It was like that night, it was all done.
Interesting.
Like it instantly. And then the second kid, Brooks, we had the leftover one for him, and he started wearing it, and then it broke one night. We had 2 days of teething fevers until the next one came in, and then never had a teething fever again.
That's so weird.
Dude, I don't know how it works.
Interesting.
I'm assuming it's magic.
Yeah.
But that's what I told her. And so we're going to order her, the show is going to order her a teething necklace, an amber teething necklace. So that way, the next time Sav is on, she can join us via video. But it's going to be a good interview, and we're going to have it right after the news right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
10:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There's word this morning that China is urging President Trump to meet them halfway. In a statement from the country's Commerce Ministry spokesperson, they said, "We hope the U.S. will meet China halfway and based on the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, properly resolve differences through dialogue and consultation." Meantime, the EU is following President Trump's lead, an announcement this morning that the EU is putting their own retaliatory measures against the U.S. on hold for 90 days. That'll give negotiations a chance, they say. A well-tailored tie-up in the fashion world. Prada will acquire Versace for $1.4 billion. Versace was held by conglomerate Capri Holdings. Capri and other luxe brands have been grappling with weak demand as consumers rein in their spending on pricey products. A vote on a controversial bill is expected from state legislators today. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
Now, this bill, it could allow Tennessee schools to charge undocumented students tuition or even deny enrollment if the families can't pay it. Earlier this week, the bill passed narrowly out of the House Government Operations Committee after a tense hearing.
That bill is expected to clear a full Senate vote today and get debate in the House Finance Committee on Monday. If it does pass both chambers, it'll go to the governor's desk for his signature. And the latest crazy find from the folks at DOJ, fraud and unemployment claims. DOJ looked at the claims since 2020 and found claims from tens of thousands of people over the age of 115, under the age of 5, even some whose birth dates are far in the future. DOJ says the fraudulent claims totaled nearly $400 million. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock Store. And have you circled May 31st on your calendar yet? You need to. That is going to be their 5th annual open house party, and it is going to be a party. I was there last year. It was a lot of fun. I don't know how they're going to make it better this year, but I know somehow they will. They're still kind of in that planning stage, but they always have entertaining speakers. They always have incredible activities. They always have awesome store-wide discounts and the most incredible raffles ever. Last year, they gave away over $15,000 worth of great gun gear. They had below-cost flash sales on Glocks and famous brand sporting rifles. And check this year. Last year, they also gave away a custom Glock worth over $1,800 just for showing up. And this year, rumor has it, they're going to be giving away multiple Glocks. It's a don't miss kind of party. Myself, Murphy, Mandis, the whole squad, we're going to be there. So come on in and say hi. That's Saturday, May 31st from 10 to 2 at the one and only Glock Store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always online, glockstore.com.
Tennessee lawmakers are considering a hidden tax hike that will squeeze taxpayers and small businesses. Senate Bill 1414 means higher prescription drug costs, more government overreach, and you are stuck with the bill. But common sense leaders in the Senate can still stop it if they hear from you. Call your state senator now. Tell them vote no on Senate Bill 1414, paid for by American Free Enterprise Chamber of Commerce.
Strong thunderstorms possible in the mid-state today. I'm WSMV4 First Alert Meteorologist Stefano DiPietro. Good sunshine the first half of our afternoon. We're staying in the 60s and 70s today, but keep an eye out late this afternoon into this evening for a few showers and thunderstorms, and tornado threat luckily is not much of a concern for us. We'll quickly dry things out tonight through tomorrow, where temperatures will stay in the 50s and near 60. Dry through the weekend, 60 Saturday, 70 Sunday, both days with plenty of sunshine.
10:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So I mentioned amber necklaces on the air a second ago, and my friend Dr. Underwood from Borough Holistic Health, I said, I don't know how it works. She said, amber necklaces release succinic acid into the skin when warmed by body heat, and it has anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving properties. That's what the amber necklaces do. Do you know what Savanah Hernandez does? She does fantastic reporting. She joins us on the line now. What's up, Sav?
Hey, Chris. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so we had you on last week, I think it was, and we were talking about your big Jackson Hewitt story, which has garnered a little bit more attention, and there's going to be a bit of follow-up, correct?
Yes, so it has been announced by Jackson Hewitt that they are actually going to be investigating this franchise location that was handing out the flyers to migrants, telling them how they could potentially get up to $14,000 in tax refunds. So I'm happy that they actually responded to this and are looking into it.
But do we believe that Jackson Hewitt is going to honestly investigate Jackson Hewitt? I mean, that seems a little bit sus to me. Can we rehash the story, exactly how it happened and how it went down, before we kind of get into the follow-up? You were down there doing some reporting, and you stumbled upon this table and found the Jackson Hewitt employees signing illegals up for tax refunds?
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. I'm in New York City, and I was over there because, of course, their migrant crisis is out of hand. I'm outside of one of the biggest migrant hotels in New York, the Roosevelt Hotel. Stumble upon this guy that's tabling, find out he works for Jackson Hewitt, and he gives me a paper that he ends up taking away from me once he finds out I'm a journalist. And the reason he took that paper away is because, again, they were offering these illegal immigrants $7,000 to up to $14,000 in tax refunds by claiming their children. Now, it's funny because Newsweek is actually who wrote the article and was able to get a response from Jackson Hewitt. I wasn't, unfortunately. And in their article, they were saying, well, you know, tax credits are typically restricted to people with a Social Security number. So that's why this story was so big, because after this broke, after I caught this employee essentially trying to coach migrants on how to receive tax refunds, Elon Musk also came out that next day and highlighted how in 2024, almost 2.1 million non-citizen Social Security numbers were given out to the illegal immigrants that made their way into the United States of America. And again, just to rehash those numbers, Chris, because I feel like I didn't do it full justice last time, in 2021, Doge and Elon Musk found out that a little over 250,000 non-citizen Social Security numbers were given out. Let's go to 2022. It's over 500,000 at that point. 2023, you're at 1 million, and then by 2024, it's 2.1 million. So overall, we are uncovering that about 4 million non-citizen Social Security numbers were given out by the government to the illegal aliens that have come into this country, and that's just what we know of. So that's why this story blew up.
Yeah, it's insane. What are the implications of an illegal alien having a Social Security number?
I mean, they have access to government benefits, they have access to tax refunds, and the left wing loves to say, well, illegal immigrants are an essential part of the economy because they pay taxes and they account for a large part of, you know, the taxes that we collect. No, we need to clean this country up, Chris. And to be quite honest with you, what we saw over the last 4 years was not illegal immigrants paying into the tax system, but instead our taxpayer dollars being utilized to shelter, to give free medical care, free transportation to, and free food, and a variety of various other, benefits to these illegal immigrants. I mean, these people were on food stamps, for crying out loud. So it's just hilarious because this has been an argument from the left for so long that illegal immigrants are beneficial to the economy, but the past 4 years really just completely destroyed that narrative because we saw billions of our taxpayer dollars go toward funding a free lifestyle for these people.
Oh, and we also saw our own American kids being kicked out of school so they could be turned into migrant shelters when it was too cold. I mean, we could go down a list of just atrocities that have been committed against the American people via the open border assault and invasion. So then Jackson Hewitt comes out. They're called out by your reporting. You put them on blast, and they had to say something. So did they release an official statement?
They did. A spokesperson spoke to Newsweek. Like I said, I reached out to them myself, and their PR email, the public PR email for media to reach out to, bounced back, so it didn't even work.
Weird.
I reached out to their X account. I know. I reached out to their X account, never got a response, but somehow a Newsweek journalist was able to get a response. They did give an official statement to Newsweek, but it's funny because they had interviewed a financial analyst or a financial expert alongside with this statement, And his name's Michael Ryan. He basically says, what strikes me about Jackson Hewitt's response is what they're not saying. They're hiding behind compliance with tax code without addressing whether their franchisees are actively marketing potentially misleading refund amounts. So they had a financial expert. That was his takeaway from their statement. Their statement was very corporate. It was very, we require everyone to file correct tax returns and to comply with U.S. tax code. But clearly this isn't happening. And to your initial question as well, Chris, of do we expect Jackson Hewitt to actually investigate Jackson Hewitt? I actually do think they may look into this. And that is because, like I said on our last interview, back in 2007, the DOJ actually did sue them because their employees at a Chicago franchise location ended up costing the IRS $70 million due to tax fraud. And keep in mind, none of that money was ever returned. So Jackson Hewitt already has come under fire multiple times for their employees committing tax fraud in 2019. I believe this was a Texas-based employee who was stealing customers' information. There were allegedly thousands of victims of this. She was making fake driver's licenses, Social Security cards with people's real information. So Jackson Hewitt has had a long and sordid history with tax fraud, so I do see them potentially trying to get ahead of this and fixing the problem because they have had run-ins with the DOJ. Simultaneously, let's not forget what our conversation was about the current DOJ on our last interview as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of moving parts to this, Chris.
So all right, you keep saying franchise, all right? Like, is Jackson Hewitt operated in a similar way that McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A would be operated, where you're having different owners at different locations just operating under the Jackson Hewitt umbrella? Is that kind of what I'm gathering?
Yes, so that's what's happening right now, and what is going on is you have rogue employees that use the Jackson Hewitt name and use the franchise locations to essentially commit tax fraud. And keep in mind, Jackson Hewitt should have a better handle on this because they are the second largest tax filing company in the United States of America. But again, I think that this, if anything, kind of highlights how easy it is to commit tax fraud because, again, the United States is a huge country. This is a very large-scale operation. So why is it that we do not have the DOJ making sure that laws are being complied with and followed? Why is it that, oh, no, the IRS accidentally lost $70 million and we can't get it back? Hopefully this doesn't happen again. What are we doing to ensure that there's actually consequences to breaking federal law?
Right? Honestly. Hey, I have a question for you. Who are you more disappointed in? Is it the DOJ or is it Amy Coney Barrett?
Oh, man, Chris, you're putting me on the spot today. I hate to say it. I love women. I am a woman. But why is it that when we put women in these leadership roles time and time again, the toxic empathy thing keeps coming into play and their decisions end up impacting the rest of the country? That's kind of what I have seen with Pam Bondi and with Amy Coney Barrett. I feel like when push comes to shove and it's time to be hardline and it's time to get things done and it's time to make hard decisions, the more emotional, hey, well, we're going to make some statements and we're going to try to be nice and we're going to try to tell people, like, don't do that. And hopefully we fix the country that way.
All right. You said toxic empathy. Can you explain that term a little bit more?
Absolutely. I did an entire show on this week. This is a toxic empathy definition is essentially empathy. So much empathy that we're overlooking bad behavior that negatively impacts society or the country or the culture. And that is what we are seeing time and time again. The best example that I can come up with is all of the criminals that continually are let out of jail because we look at them and for some reason the left wing and females will look at these people and say, well, yeah, sure, that guy stabbed a tourist on the street of New York, but what happened in his life that led him to make that decision? Okay, sure, this homeless guy is addicted to drugs, but what happened in his life that put him in this situation? We always want to have so much compassion that it has led us to a point of decay because now crime and lawlessness are running our country because, quite frankly, we've been too nice.
Do you think that this is really mainly a problem of the left, or do you think that the right suffers from this a little bit as well?
I think we can very clearly see that this is a left and right wing issue, Chris. And like I said, too, I hate to have to say it, but it is very much true. And, I think women are very emotional creatures. God made us to be emotional, and that is an incredible thing. That's our strength, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I feel like in leadership positions, oftentimes that's weaponized, and the country has to pay the price for perhaps a decision that is made and based in emotion as opposed to law and order and logic. So that is my 2 cents on it, and I do think that this is clearly a left and right wing issue.
I love the term toxic empathy. I'm stealing it, and I'm gonna roll with it, and I'm not gonna give you credit. I'm gonna go full Dom Lucre. I just want to let you know.
No, it's okay. That's actually I think Allie Beth Stuckey might have stole that one from her. So
All right,
you know
perfect.
what?
Perfect.
There we go. Steal it from me. I stole it from her.
Secondhand theft. I love it. I love it. What's a big news story that the American people aren't paying enough attention to, Sev?
Good question. What are we focused on today?
We're focused on tariffs and we're focused on the stock market, but I think that there's a lot of other things going on, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of other things going on. And like you said, the tariffs and economy have taken over. But of course, my main focus is and always will be on the mass deportation issue. That is always going to be my most important thing. The DHS this week came out and said that they're going to be fining illegal immigrants $998 a day for not, self-deporting essentially. My focus, however, is in on the still very low deportation numbers. I know Christy Noam got a lot of flack this week because she has been putting out a lot of social media videos, which in essence at first was like, okay, cool, this is a very transparent admin. We can talk to them on social media. Now it's kind of like, cool, we see the videos, but where are the numbers? Where are we at? How are we going to actually enact these mass deportations? Because as of now, we're coming up to that 100-day mark of Donald Trump's administration, and we have not seen that happen yet. So that's my focus.
One of the big things that I've noticed, or the lack thereof, when it comes to the mass deportations, and it's been highlighted with our China trade war going on, but I haven't seen any stories of Chinese nationals being deported. And we do know that there are a lot of illegal Chinese nationals in this country. We understand what the Chinese have been doing in this country in terms of secret police stations and monitoring their own citizens for dissidents and all the like, buying up farmland near military bases. We could go on and on and on. Am I missing the mass deportations of Chinese nationals, or is that just not happening?
Honestly, Chris, I think that we have very much misplaced the priority of who needs to be deported in this country. I'm happy to see that we're going after, again, Tren de Aragua, MS-13, a lot of those high-level people. But at the same time, you're right. We need mass deportations of, again, these foreign entities that have truly come into the United States and infiltrated, quite frankly. I have not seen the mass deportations of these Chinese nationals. I'm actually about to release a clip today about what New York still looks like, completely overwhelmed and flooded with illegal immigrants. I'm sure many of which are MS-13. They actually do have a big MS-13 problem. I think it's in either the Brooklyn or the Bronx area, one of the two. But, yeah, we're not really seeing that. There is a lot of focus right now on college campuses, which, look, I'm happy when anybody who should not be in this country and has expressed anti-Western values is deported. Incredible. Simultaneously, like you're saying, it really does seem like China is and has always been the main focus of Donald Trump. So you would think that deporting these Chinese nationals as well would be something that we are potentially looking into, especially as the Chinese have bought up so much farmland in the United States of America. We know the influence that China has on Hollywood, on our own culture. We know the influence China has via TikTok over our own youth. So I kind of hope and wish that we would, make that more of a priority, but I am not seeing it. And again, I hate to blackpill, Chris, but also we are coming up on 100 days, and we're not seeing the high level of arrests we were promised. We're not really seeing those mass deportation numbers. So I'm really hoping we start seeing more movement.
What grade would you give the first 100 days currently?
Maybe a C, Chris. Maybe a B. You know what? I don't know. Maybe
I was
maybe
thinking
a B or C.
I was thinking B plus personally. B plus-ish, B plus. But I could understand your argument for a C.
It's because RFK Jr. just came out and promoted the measles vaccine or the MMR vaccine, which we were really surprised about. But I think he actually did come out in an interview and clarify that statement. But I think as of now, the admin is trying to get their footing. They're trying to get their messaging across. But again, I would like to see more action. You're right. I would say more of a B. And it's a B because of Donald Trump, right? I feel like the admin hasn't been the best, but Donald Trump has been very strong on a lot of things, but he can only sign so many executive orders. We do need Congress, and we do need other members of his admin, the Attorney General, all of these other people who are also supposed to be involved. We need them to move as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. Savanah Hernandez, she has another clip dropping today about the current state of New York. Where can we find that clip? What time are you dropping it? Where can we see this?
So it's going to be on my X account at SavSays. So go check it out. And yep, Chris, I will be keeping my eye on all of these moving parts and issues happening in the U.S.
Hey, we appreciate you joining the show, Sav. As always, Savanah Hernandez, Frontlines reporter for Turning Point USA, one of the best investigative journalists in the country, if not the best. Thank you for joining the show, as always, Sav.
Thanks, Chris.
It's 10:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I need you to listen up. What I could tell you could change your life from ever. If you are suffering from pain, back pain, knee pain, nerve issues, you need to call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today, 615-246-5009. And they're going to save you some money when you do call because they have the Big 47 deal going on all of 2025 for our 47th president. And it's going to save you some good coin. Now imagine life without pain. No more back pain, no more neck pain, no more tingling, no more sciatic nerve agony, no more sleepless nights. And you don't have to worry about getting pain-free with pills and risky surgery. You see, the Wellness Institute, they specialize in non-surgical spinal decompression. They have a state-of-the-art, high-tech treatment that naturally heals your spine and nerves. Dr. Mitchell, he's trained all over the world. Dr. Ashley is an expert in holistic healing and advanced chiropractic care. And right now, man, they'll hook you up. You can get an exam. You can get x-rays if they're needed. You can bring your own MRI to review with the doctor, and then they'll build a game plan to get you pain-free. Get your life to being pain-free. Call now, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. Don't wait. Your health depends on it. Painisbad.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Well, the U.S. House just kick-started efforts to enact President Trump's domestic agenda. This story and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, and I'm about to ruin Ken Weaver's newscast because that's what I was ready to go talk about.
You go ahead, Brother Chris. You do it.
President Trump has congratulated the House. They passed that budget resolution, and now the way has been paved for a budget reconciliation bill, which is likely to include $1.5 trillion in spending cuts and an extension and expansion of President Trump's tax cuts, plus massive deregulation. This is the no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. That would be the expansion. But he posted on True Social moments ago, congratulations to the House on the passage of a bill that sets the stage for one of the greatest and most important signings in the history of our country. Among many other things, it will be the largest tax and regulation cuts ever contemplated. Make America great again. This has been the agenda. This has been the promises. This is what they're executing on.
Did he say anything about Thomas Massey?
No, nothing about Thomas Massey.
Oh, okay. All
right. Thomas Massey, did he not vote for it?
Yeah, he voted against it.
Classic Massey. At this point, a lot of conservatives get mad at Massey for voting against it. At this point, I would get mad if Massey voted for it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, bro, what are you doing? That's not you. That's not you.
He's being typecast.
Yeah. It's awesome. Ken's got more in the news. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like everyone in Middle Tennessee is under a level 1 out of 5 risk for Tennessee. Now, some of us west of 65 and south of 40, you're under that level 2 risk. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Well, the effort to enact President Trump's domestic agenda just got kickstarted with the House passing the Senate's framework for a budget to slash the federal government by $1.5 trillion. Speaker Johnson says Republicans are going to work together in both the House and the Senate to get it done.
We will now get the committees operating on all cylinders. They'll be working over the 2-week district work period that encompasses Passover and Easter. They'll take a couple of days off for those holy celebrations and then keep their sleeves rolled up and get right back to work.
2 Republicans voted no, Kentucky's Thomas Massey and Indiana's Victoria Spartz.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Stocks giving back a chunk of their historic gains from the day before as Wall Street continues to weigh the effects of a global trade war will have on the U.S. economy. ABC Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis with more on the 90-day pause President Trump announced on Wednesday after a major sell-off in the bond market.
What the market is doing is it's reflecting the degrees of uncertainty that still exist. This pause is something that many of the president's supporters were calling for, and it was so that this White House, the administration, can make these negotiations, can sift through some of the questions that exist without doing damage.
The pause does not apply to Chinese goods.
And reports say the White House has clarified exactly the amount of tariff on China. It is 145%. Got a new inflation report. Here's Jay O'Brien.
Not only was inflation cooler than expected in March, it showed a promising long-term trend. Core prices for goods other than food and energy were up by just 0.1%. Their 2.8% yearly increase, the smallest since March of 2021. On the whole, lower energy prices helped bring down inflation in March. They fell by 2.4%. But the report's major caveat, this information predates the trade war escalation.
Got some breaking news right now here in Tennessee. It looks like the state Senate has passed the undocumented students bill, which allows state school districts to charge illegal immigrant students, families, tuition, or they're disenrolled. Now it has passed the Senate. I think there's a few more steps in the House before it goes to the governor's desk. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the 99.7 WTN app, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV is live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Shout out to the YouTube chat. They're always keeping the conversation going over there. Hit like, hit subscribe, all the things. If you missed something, podcasts on Apple and Spotify. Wow. So that's a lot of them. That's a lot of things. We did a lot of things. All right, so the big, beautiful bill spending resolution is passed. 216 to 214. It passed by 2 votes. 2 of the yay votes were Republicans Randy Fine and Jimmy Patronis, who were just elected in Florida. Many people are saying Florida saved the bill. That could very well be the case. But this is big. This is big. We are on our way to that $1.5 trillion in savings. The Post Millennial has the breakdown here. The Trump-backed budget resolution has passed 216 to 214 with 2 GOP no votes. The no votes were, everybody guessed Thomas Massie of Kentucky. Shout out to Massie, standing on business. He does what he does, and I still love him. I do. I actually respect the hell out of Massie. And then the other no vote was Victoria Spartz out of Indiana. Do you know Victoria Spartz out of Indiana? I don't know. I'd never heard of her, to be perfectly honest with you. Is she new? Or is she like wicked old? She's got to be one of the two. Mason's doing Googling. Did you finish the Google?
Give me that last name one more time.
Spartz with Spartz. I don't know. I haven't heard of her. It's hard to keep track of all these people. Full disclosure. But the resolution passed, bringing the GOP one step closer to the spending agenda getting the spending agenda passed by Congress. Ahead of the vote, Speaker Mike Johnson said, "I believe we have the votes to finally adopt the budget resolution so we can move forward on President Trump's very important agenda with the American people." Again, the 2 GOP members that voted against the resolution were Reps Thomas Massie and Victoria Spartz, who's a Republican out of Indiana. Excuse me. They said that as this was approaching this week, it wasn't a slam dunk, wasn't a home run victory guaranteed, because there was a block of more fiscally conservative House members that were concerned that the budget could lead to higher national debt. Wednesday evening, the bill was pulled back as some Republicans were looking to cut more spending. After everybody talked with Johnson, he told reporters that commitments were discussed, including finding at least $1.5 trillion in savings for the American people, while also preserving our essential programs. The House passed its version of the resolution in February. Then the Senate sent back a compromise resolution over the weekend, per the Washington Examiner. The Senate version had to be approved by the House before going forward. The bill includes an increase of the debt ceiling of $5 trillion, and although the original House bill outlined plans to make $2 trillion in spending cuts, the Senate version figure was a goal to reach towards, but set spending cuts at $4 billion instead. That's not gonna do it. That is not going to do it. The resolution is going to go to Trump's desk for signing, where it will allow the GOP to draft legislation to extend those tax cuts from 2017 that were set to end later this year. And it will allow for committees to start drafting legislation to push forward the Trump agenda and to increase border security as well as energy in the United States. You got more info on Miss Victoria Spartz out of Indiana? Did you find anything out about her?
I did. So looking at her, this here, she assumed office in January 3rd of 2021.
Okay.
And then she was on Indiana state level Senate from 2017 to 2020.
How old is she? Do you know how old she is?
46.
46. Oh, I know who she is. Now that I see a picture of her, I've seen this woman before. I don't know. She doesn't seem that impressive.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's all right. Maybe she's just really, really a big fan of Massie. And she's like, I'm with Massie. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. So that passed. And then another thing passed, too, the House. The bill requiring proof of U.S. citizenship to vote. What a bunch of bigoted racists. Could you imagine them doing something like this? How can we keep letting them get away with it? Yeah, it was the SAVE Act. That bill passed in a 220 to 208 vote. 4 Democrats joined all present Republicans in passing that bill. That was passed this morning, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, or the SAVE Act, again, 220 to 208. The bill requires proof of U.S. citizenship to be able to register to vote in a federal election. Documents proving U.S. citizenship accepted under the bill include those consistent with the Real ID Act of 2005, a U.S. passport, a military identification card alongside military record of service that shows your place of birth was in the U.S., a valid government-issue photo ID card showing your place of birth was in the U.S., and a valid birth certificate, among other documents. That's breaking just now. And I believe 4 Democrats voted in favor of that, which is interesting. I'll be interested to find out who those Democrats were. But we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that story. Yesterday, Chuck Schumer. We've been saying this for a while since we started seeing all the Tesla attacks, that we need to treat these Democrats the same way that Trump was treated after the Very Fine People hoax. You need to ask them to condemn the violence against Tesla again and again and again. And Chuck Schumer was asked to condemn the violence against Tesla, and he refused. They caught him in the hallway. He refused. He completely danced around the question like many other Democrats have, and then he chose to start attacking Elon Musk.
Senator, what's your opinion of the violence against Tesla, their products? What are your thoughts on that? Do you denounce the violence against Tesla products and dealerships and cars in the streets?
I can't talk about Tesla, but Elon Musk is a disaster for America, and America knows it. Look at Wisconsin.
Oh, look at Wisconsin. Look at Wisconsin. There's, we'll look. You can't comment on it? You can't denounce political violence in this country? Okay. I mean, hey, that's the Democrats for you. That's the Democrats. Doge will continue doing their efforts until morale improves. They're actually considering cuts to Woke Medical Journal, and Doge has been looking at these cuts. They want to take a hacksaw to the Woke Medical Journals. This move involves ending government-funded subscriptions to scientific and medical journals known for spreading propaganda under the guise of legitimate scientific research, a reality that Americans truly began to grasp during COVID. This story is from Breitbart. Many Americans were bullied with fake news weaponized by the Biden administration, urging mass masking as well as vaccines, neither one of which prevented contracting the virus or spreading it. I mean, COVID was an absolute eye-opener for a lot of people when it came to the medical industrial complex. And so Doge has taken aim at them. One of the medical journals at the center of this controversy is the European publisher Springer Nature, which used its flagship publication Nature to attack those who were skeptical of the coronavirus vaccine, asserting that they were spreading misinformation. They said widespread acceptance for a vaccine for severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 will be the next major step in fighting the coronavirus disease and COVID-19 pandemic. But achieving high uptake will be a challenge and may be impeded by online misinformation. That's what part of their report read. And then as late as September of 2024, the publication continued to push the theory that the virus naturally occurred. Really? September 2024? It naturally occurred, despite the fact that U.S. intelligence agencies even recognize that the lab leak theory is the most likely explanation. They say that this woke journal also pushed gender insanity, publishing a piece last year titled Beyond the Trans Cis Binary. Introducing new terms will enrich gender research. And they provided this scenario, this woke medical journal did. Are you transgender? Participating in a study for the public health class, neither Alex nor Luna knew how to answer. Alex uses they-them pronouns and identifies as agender. They are also among a growing number of young people who have been raised in gender-neutral manners. Their parents did not refer to them as boy or girl until they were old enough to choose for themselves. Whatever genitals Alex was born with is not common knowledge. What? We're funding this? We're funding this. If you are agender and were never assigned a gender, does that make you transgender? So, despite obvious propaganda and bias, it's believed that the parent company for this woke medical journal, Springer Nature, is receiving millions of taxpayer dollars. So when you hear that blurb about poor Alex who didn't know what kind of bits he had because mom and dad wouldn't acknowledge it until he was old enough to choose for himself. Poor Alex. That you funded that. You paid for that. And this is why people are so mad at Elon Musk. Science and academia have been politicized by woke ideologies, one source told Breitbart News. So we've got to end the cabals that control what research gets published. It's a massive money-making operation for the left, and Doge is making sure taxpayers don't continue to get fleeced. American taxpayers shouldn't be funding this garbage, a second source told Breitbart News. If they want to publish this stuff, that's fine. Go for it. Make fools of yourself. But Doge isn't going to allow you to make a fool of the American taxpayer anymore. Doge has taken a lot of actions very similar to this, including what you recall the Politico subscription fiasco, where Politico was receiving around $8.1 million in federal funds in the fiscal year 2024 alone. White House Press Secretary Callan Levitt said those days are over. They're not coming back. And Doge is just going to keep continuing. Will you denounce the political violence against Tesla? Chuck Schumer says he's not going to talk about that. But what Elon Musk is doing for this country is a disaster, and it's chaos. And I look at the records, and I say, actually, what the federal government's been doing has been disaster and chaos. Elon and Doge recently exposed that federal agencies spent more than $4.6 billion on furniture since 2021, despite the overwhelming majority of employees working from home. Does this make any sense to you? We're going to spend $4.6 billion on furniture while everyone works from home.
On high-end pieces. Since fiscal year 2021, executive agencies have spent more than $4.6 billion on furniture alone. That amount could buy 9.2 million American families a modest $500 kitchen table. During the peak years of the COVID emergency, from 2020 to 2022, agencies spent $3.3 billion on furniture, even as work migrated to Zoom.
You're working from home? Oh, you're missing out on the new office furniture. It's a bummer. This conference room is stacked. We have comfy chairs and a nice table, and we spent millions on this place. It's a damn shame nobody gets to enjoy it. This is what the federal government's been doing with your taxpayer dollars. Are you surprised?
The SEC managed to spend $700,000 furnishing a single conference room in New York.
That's the conference room you want to be in. A $700,000 conference room. How? How on earth do you do that? Is it gold? Is everything gold? Look up a picture of that conference room and just let me know if everything is gold, because I feel like everything needs to be gold. A $700,000 conference room. Okay.
And social distancing guidelines failed to keep even the Centers for Disease Control from buying solar-powered picnic tables with charging ports.
Solar-powered picnic tables. Solar-powered picnic tables. This is why people are so mad at Elon.
Just to update, I don't see any gold.
No gold?
No gold.
Do you actually have a picture of the $700,000 conference room?
I think this is it.
Does it look fancy at least? Is there ivory tusks and rich mahogany?
No.
No? What?
The chairs look slightly comfortable.
The chairs look comfy? They don't squeak?
No, I sure hope not. There's no video audio for it.
But nothing in gold?
Nothing in gold.
No ivory?
No ivory.
No mahogany?
Mm-mm.
I feel like we got fleeced. Do you feel like we got fleeced?
I think so. It's like the table looks oak at best.
Oh, and Chuck Schumer won't denounce violence against Tesla and Elon Musk, but he also wants you to know that what Elon's doing has been chaotic, as they have a $700,000 conference room, taxpayer funded, no gold, no ivory, no rich mahogany. Comfy looking chairs, though. The chairs do look comfy. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We love the guys at Busy Bee. Not only are they listening all day long in their trucks while they're going out on jobs, but they're always texting in too. The guys are great, and they want to save you some good money. All month long, spring rebate madness is going on at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And you got to hear these rebates to believe them. You get a mini split 17 SEER or heat pump 17 SEER, you land yourself an $800 rebate. A heat pump 15 or 16 SEER, $500 rebate. You need duct sealing or repair, that'll land you a $300 rebate. How about just getting your AC tuned up for the summer season to make sure it's running at maximum peak efficiency? That'll land you a $50 rebate. Now, Busy Bee will do all the paperwork on the rebates. All you got to do is wait for the check. And with that $50 rebate on the tune-ups, if you do some quick napkin math, Busy Bee is paying you to become a Beehive Club member, because for just $99, that Beehive Club membership gets you 3 annual tune-ups. So that's 50, 150. Wow. 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, $100 annual accrued replacement credit, maximum of $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, online, busybeehvac.com.
Right now in Tennessee, the undocumented students bill has cleared the state Senate, needs only to pass the House to go to the governor's desk. This story and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's good news. Thank you, Ken Weaver. 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe. It'll help me get my kids to a nice summer camp. As of right now, the one we're looking at is more of a work camp. So...
I said that wrong earlier. I thought we were trying to get your car to summer camp. Whoops, that's my bad.
No, I got a lot of things. I got a lot of things right now currently.
Yeah, it's where, kids learn how to mow the lawn.
Yes.
I learn all kinds of fun stuff.
I told the kids, I said, listen, with the trade war happening with China, we need to take advantage of your teeny tiny hands while we can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do. I saw this insanely good video last night from Western Lensman. Do you follow Western Lensman on Twitter? You should. Just full disclosure. You should. He put out a fire video, and it says defining the Democrat brand, because we all understand that the Democrats they've had some issues with their brand, and it says listen, the point of the video is don't define the Democrat brand. Let the Democrats define the Democrat brand themselves.
The best way to define the Democrat brand.
The Democratic brand is toxic right now.
Is to let them define it themselves.
There's two words that define the Democratic Party for the public: weak and woke.
Democrat violence.
When they try to divide us, what happens? We kill them!
How do you feel about Donald Trump?
I think that he deserves to die.
Democrat mayhem.
There is news amid the growing number of attacks on Tesla vehicles and dealerships, arson and vandalism across the U.S.
Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so,
Democrat protesters.
What makes Trump a fascist? Because you're giving me some tough questions about specifics. I don't have facts.
Explain a little bit for our viewers what this means. Raise your hand out.
Hackistocracy.
Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. I am undocumented, queer, and unashamed.
All you have is hate, racism, stupidity, and greed.
So I can feel better about all the losing.
I'll say hi some more later.
Democrat leadership.
I am tired of the white tears.
I am so tired of white men failing up.
This is what kicking out of fascism looks like. We will not shut up! That ain't true. That's what you just heard.
Screw you and the horse you rode in on.
Hey, goddammit, shut down the city!
That Elon Musk has done with his high technology act.
These people are just idiots.
The Democratic Party brand is really problematic.
Yeah, it is. Again, that guy, he is worth a follow on X. That's at Western Lensman, making a fantastic video. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you saw the visuals along with it. The Democrats have a major issue right now, but we don't need to define it. We let the Democrats define themselves. I think that's one of the best strategies. It kind of goes along lines of what I've been saying. Don't interrupt your enemies while they're making mistakes, right? The Democrats look bad. I do think that there are potentially some scenarios that could make the Democrats look even worse. Carolyn Levitt was asked yesterday if they're planning on releasing the tapes from the Biden-Her interview. You remember the interview where they decided that they couldn't charge Joe Biden with the classified documents because he was a doddering old man with memory issues, and juries would be too compassionate to him, and they wouldn't get a conviction, so they decided not to press charges because of all the memory issues. Carolyn Levitt was asked about that yesterday. What she says could be amazing if it happens. I'll play you the clip when we get back. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. We're going to be getting more rain today. Have you fixed your waterproofing issues in your crawl space in your basement yet? No? Come on, man. What are you doing? We've been telling you that you need to call USS. We've been telling you that this problem isn't going to fix itself. It's really time to get on the ball and talk to USS today. Now, United Structural Systems, they're not going to send a sales guy to your home. They are not going to send they're not going to send somebody that's going to upsell you on the next best thing. They're going to send a problem solver. They're going to send somebody that's going to create a custom solution for your home when it comes to your waterproofing needs. And if it's not a big fix, they have no problem telling you. If it's something that really needs some work, they'll tell you that as well. And they won't leave until the job is done and you're satisfied. If you don't fix the waterproofing issues, you're going to be dealing with it again today with this rain coming in. It's going to lead to mold in your crawl space. It's going to lead to foundation issues. It's going to lead to much bigger problems. Don't let it. Call USS now. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. USS, they've been keeping homes dry and stable since 1994, and they have 30,000 satisfied customers. You're going to be satisfied too. USSTN.com. It's 11:34 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. So, Ken's back. You good, Ken?
Boys, I am sorry about that.
That's okay.
You're good. We just wanted to make sure you were okay.
I got nervous because Ken doesn't miss a newscast.
Well, now I'm freaking out, dude. I mean, I went to the, went down the hall, the bathroom.
Mm.
And I don't know, for whatever, I came out and thought, give me a cup of coffee.
That's okay. Listen, I can count on one hand how many times Ken's missed a newscast from each one. But Mason said I'm going to go in and check on him, and I rushed ahead because I said chances are high Ken's on the floor, and I didn't want young Mason to be scarred by that.
Wow.
So I run in there.
I was like,
I didn't know if you'd seen a dead body before, and I was like, let me handle this.
I've seen two.
Oh,
which is unfortunate. Yeah. When I used to work at the Omni Hotel, homeless people used to walk by all the time. And there were two people that walked over to sit down on the benches that we have over there. And it was in the middle of a huge event going on. I used to look over and I watch a guy's skin go from like a lighter tan to like blue, and he just collapsed.
Goodness.
And it turns out he had an overdose. And ambulances showed up and everything, and they were taking care of it. But I looked over, made eye contact with him, and he dropped. And I was like, whoa.
Dude, it's crazy, right?
It's the weirdest feeling.
So I've seen that happen before, but one time we were at a hotel. We had stopped at a hotel. It was like on our way to the Outer Banks, and we were in Greensboro, I think. I want to say it was. And I don't know, like maybe I'm just an insane person, but I have way too many kids to like do loading the car up. So like our plan is like, okay, you stay in the hotel room with the kids. I'll go load the car. And so I went down with all the suitcases and I go load the car. And there's a guy who's like about 3 cars down, and this car pulls in and just kind of like stops in front of him. And this guy starts getting nervous. And I'm like, is this guy about to get shot? Like, what is happening? So I'm like loading. I'm keeping an eye out in the corner of my eye. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, man, you got a cell phone? And I was like, yeah. He's like, something ain't right over here. And then so I walk over down the 2-3 cars. There's a woman overdosing in her driver's seat.
Holy cow.
The car is pointing directly at this guy in his car, and it's in drive.
Oh, no.
So I had to reach in and put the car in park. And he's like, thank God you did that. He's like, I wouldn't have even looked for that. I was like, she was one hiccup away from taking out your vehicle, man.
Yeah.
It's just like,
wow.
So I put the car into park, and then we called the authorities, and I don't think she made it.
Yeah.
Well, you boys won't have to worry about me overdosing.
That's good. That's good.
Well, maybe too much caffeine back
But I am a little concerned about how I just completely forgot to do the news.
I walked out
and just
and I
went
said-
and got a cup of coffee.
I walked out and said, Ken, you all right? He said, am I?
Yeah, because I looked at Chris and I thought, why is Chris out here? He should be on the air. and then you told me, and well, maybe I'm not okay. Oh, boy.
Wild. All right. Well, we love you, Ken. We were honestly like, is Ken okay?
I just wanted to make sure you were good, man.
Well, I appreciate the concern, boys.
Absolutely.
The people love Ken Weaver. We wouldn't have left you back there too long.
I have no idea how I did that, man. I just decided, well, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee.
We'll find out. All right. Carolyn Leavitt was asked if she would release the Joe Biden her tapes. Do you remember the her tapes that were a big deal about the classified documents? The ones, Donald Trump was allowed to be charged with classified documents and improperly storing them behind lock and key and Secret Service, but Joe Biden was not improperly storing them when they were in the box in the garage because they were behind the Corvette. You remember those documents? They were behind the Corvette.
And by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage.
Yeah, thank you. See, he doesn't have memory issues.
He knows where it is.
He's sharp. Carolyn Leavitt was asked about this yesterday.
More reporting coming out now about President Biden's decline while in the White House. Is the White House considering releasing the audio of Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur to the public, which the former president had previously blocked?
I don't have an update on that, but I can certainly check. I think the American people would be quite interested to hear that tape, but I'll double check on the release.
Yeah, quite interested. I think that's an understatement. I would be fascinated to hear those tapes, and I hope that we do. And I think that if this administration wants to position themselves as the most transparent administration in history, this would be a step in the right direction. Expose all of the lies and all of the cover-ups of the Biden administration. Please, 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 please. Thank you. Because we know that there were issues with Joe Biden. We watched it in real time.
Mr. President, for months when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, watch me. Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They express concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now? What is your answer to that question?
Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be President of the United States and finish the job I started.
Okay. All right. That's Joe. Quickly after that, the Democrats realized he was not the most qualified person in the United States, and they ushered in Kamala Harris. Kamala. I didn't know she was black.
How bad
is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad I let you speak. That's
your memory has gotten worse, Mr.
No, look,
President?
my memory is not good. My memory is fine.
Sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack. Do you remember when what country did he refer to? Sisi, the president of Egypt. Do you remember that?
As you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was talking about the president of Egypt letting aid into Gaza, and he called him the president of Mexico. Sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack, we were told. I have another update for you. Michelle Obama. I don't know how anybody could have predicted this. Remember the big podcast that everybody was excited about? Everybody was just, what was the name of the podcast? Was it Mic Drop? Mic Drop with Michelle Obama? I think that's the name of the podcast. Everybody was very, very excited about this.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
Well, Mike and Craig aren't doing too good. Spoiler alert. Colin Roog on X has this. Episode 1 had 335,000 views. Episode 2, 194,000 views. Episode 3, we saw a slight uptick, 253,000. Fast forward, episode 6, 63,000 views. She is hemorrhaging support. Her viewership is down 75% when you compare the first episode to the latest episode. And apparently it's not doing much better on Spotify or Apple. Colin Roog on X says that she's ranked 34 on Spotify's chart, 19th on Apple Podcast. The views say it all. Nobody cares about Michelle Obama anymore. Do you remember when we were nervous about Michelle Obama potentially being ushered into that Kamala Harris spot as the heir apparent to the Democrat Party? I don't know if those fears were based in reality, judging by these numbers. It doesn't seem like anybody was overly excited about Michelle Obama, and nobody wants to hear from her. How can a former first lady? How many followers does she have on Twitter? She's got millions upon millions of people that follow her, and she's getting 63,000 views on a YouTube episode. Now, listen, we all understand that if I was getting 63,000 views on a YouTube episode, I would absolutely celebrate it, and my kids would be going to the best summer camp. I'm not going to lie to you. But this is the former first lady. This is the former first lady of the first black president of the United States. This is the first black first lady ever. And she's getting 63,000 views with all that clout, all that fame.
Yeah, with 21.6 million followers on Twitter.
That's embarrassing.
That's wild.
That is embarrassing on so many levels. And it makes me want to go sign up for one of those. You can sign up for accounts that will it will determine how many followers are real, how many followers are fake, and I'd be wondering if there's a large percentage of fake followers baked into the cake under Michelle Obama. Would it shock you? It wouldn't shock me. But they don't want to watch her on YouTube. They're not very interested in that. Speaking of people that could run for president, Stephen A. Smith, 28. Our friends over at Barrett Media have this, and he posted it on X. He posted the Barrett Media. It's like Barrett Media is like an insider, like a radio and news media insider publication. They're great. I like Barrett Media a lot. And so it was interesting that they posted the story and that Stephen A. sent the link out. But he said, time to stop messing around. Life is great, especially at ESPN Disney. Hate the thought of being a politician, but sick of this mess. So I'm officially leaving all doors open. I am telling you, it's going to be Vance versus Smith 2028. Is it too early to make that prediction? It's April 10th, 2025. Vance versus Smith 2028. I look at Stephen A. Smith and I see the outsider that Trump was to the Republican Party as an outsider to the Democrat Party. And I think that he is not to be underestimated, honestly. I think that he has built up a lot of social clout and a lot of respect with a lot of people in this country from years and years of doing sports. Now, a lot of people don't like him at the exact same time, but I mean, I've made the point. I remember waking up and skipping school and watching First Take with Stephen A. and Skip. And I know millions of other millennials and Gen Zers did the exact same thing, and even, older than that as well. But Stephen A. is the outsider for the Democrat Party, I think, is more dangerous to the Republicans than Michelle Obama would have been if she had gotten the spot over Kamala Harris. It's a hot take. It's a hot take. I'm just letting you know. So he is officially leaving all doors open. He's going to run. He's going to run. Just wait until the people get in his ears. The scariest prospect about Stephen A. Smith isn't that he's going to run, isn't that he could win. The scariest prospect is who's going to be running the government behind him, because I think we would have ourselves in the same kind of situation that we had with Joe Biden, where the country is going to be run by the people behind the curtain as opposed to Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. would just be the mouthpiece for everything. It's terrifying, make no mistake about it, but I think Stephen A. Smith is dangerous in a general. Also, yesterday, Trump signed an executive order, make showers great again. Listen, this is fantastic, and it reminded me of do you remember in Seinfeld where they had to get they had to get the water pressure up right, and Kramer got the Russian shower head, and then he found himself getting sprayed out of the shower. Like, this is where we're headed. This is making America great again. And we had a war on shower pressure that Donald Trump is not messing around with anymore. And he signed that executive order yesterday, getting rid of the low-flow shower heads.
The Biden administration launched what you've called a war on showers. They had certain regulations that basically killed the water pressure of showers and other water appliances.
You can say it. Go ahead. What are the appliances?
I mean, it's everything, sir.
Sinks and toilets.
Dishwashers, toilets, sinks. But the shower heads are a
There's
huge
no
deal.
water. You don't get water. It's ridiculous.
So with this executive order, we're effectively going to be reversing that set of regulations to ensure that Americans have choice in the consumer market. If they want a low-flow shower head, they can buy one. If they want a real deal shower head,
He said if they want a low-flow shower head, they can buy them. They don't. They don't.
That's true. If you buy a new house, you pay a lot of money, and the developers, you're not allowed to do anything more. They put restrictors on. They used to have a restrictor where you could take it out, but now they weld it in. And you take a shower or wash your hands, whatever you do, including dishwashers when no water comes out. But you wash your hands, and in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. I can't stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous.
All right, file this one under promises made, promises kept. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:52, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Better Water LLC sponsors the show. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Chad Benson's in here.
What up?
Looks like the trade war's back. It was paused, it was continuing, and now we're
I don't know.
Trade war 2.0.
I can't tell anymore at this point. I think, what is China going to hit us with a $1.9 trillion tsunami of trade stuff? I don't even know.
I'm waiting for them to hit us with another virus as this gets more murky by the day.
Some pangolin pudding for you.
Yeah. It'd be a shame if we sneezed on you, America.
Oh, my God. Enough. Can we just have a regular day where we talk about the Masters and stuff like that? I don't care about the trade war at this point in time. You know why? Because I don't know what. Tomorrow, I heard you talking this morning. So for those of you guys who don't know, I do have a show in the morning, and it gets replayed in the afternoon. Because not every station takes it live. So I update my show usually if something crazy happens. By the time that I started this show yesterday, and 2 minutes in, everything had changed. Yep. And, you're just like, ugh. And today I'm like, I don't know. And I know it's funny and everybody's like, this is where Trump drives me crazy. When Biden was president, I updated my show maybe 6 times his entire presidency, and most of that was when Afghanistan, something like that.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody yesterday, I'm going to do an extra 75 shows this year because of Trump. At least 2-3 times a week, I have to go straight home and start getting ready for my afternoon show. That I'm just like, oh, good God,
it's insane.
It is.
You're a golf guy, though, right?
I am.
What do you think about the former Bud Light exec who was responsible for the Dylan Mulvaney campaign going over to Live Golf?
Oh, that's an interesting. I don't think Dylan's going. I don't think we're going to be doing any Dylan stuff. Hey, guys, it's me, Dylan. Guess what? I love Live. Hey, if the money's good enough, you know what? Ask me to come. I'm going.
Is Live Golf making an error in judgment here? Like, by hiring somebody with that much of a stain on them?
No, I think if they would have hired that girl that was head of their marketing, that would have been a mistake.
That's who they hired.
Oh, that was her? I thought it was the dude. I thought it was the guy that was the head of the.
No, they
hired her?
Bud Light's marketing vice president, Alyssa Heinerscheid.
Yeah, I think it's Heinerscheid. Yeah, crap. I don't know why. Well, who do you know? That's the thing, is who do you know over there?
Is golf not gay and trans enough?
Not yet. Probably won't be, because I don't know if you're aware of this. If you think that the people who drank Budweiser were MAGA knuckle draggers, wait till you find out that golf is 99% conservative.
Right?
Yeah. And I'm talking about the players. I mean, they all golf with Trump. They all play with Trump. They're all YouTubing with Trump and his granddaughter. So, yeah, but they're trying to, obviously trying to merge the PGA and Live. So maybe maybe they thought this would help her out. What is she doing over there?
She was hired.
Did they just hire and say, we're going to put you over here with this is what happens when you screw things up? Ask her.
They just said she's now working for Live Golf.
I don't know.
That's what they say. Is this a bigger loss for Live Golf or a bigger win for the PGA?
Bigger loss for Live.
Are they going to merge? That's been talked about for a while.
They're going to, at some point in time, they're going to have to merge because the guys want to come back and play. And it's, they miss being on the big tour, but they like the money. It's hard to turn down $250 million. $250 million. That's hard to turn that down.
Yeah.
Somebody comes to you and says, I'll give you a check for $250 million. You're like, oh, okay. I'm coming. So that's hard to turn down, but I think they like the team aspect. But what they miss is the week-to-week of playing against all the other best players in the world. Because Liv has like 8 or 10 great players, and they've got some good players, and the rest are, there to make up the numbers.
I'm not a golf guy.
Yeah.
What are the differences between the two leagues?
4-day tournaments for the PGA, 3-day tournaments for Liv. Liv has a team aspect as well as individual aspect, so everybody's on a team, but there's individual awards. The money's bigger with Liv. And then on the other side of it, it is all you don't get world ranking points, which keeps a lot of people out of big major championships, which frustrates some people. And you also get to wear shorts with Liv.
Oh,
which is a big
big deal
for some of these guys. It's a big deal.
Really?
Yeah, wearing shorts. I mean,
So it's money in shorts or accolades and championships is really your decision-making process
that's a lot of
when you're looking between the two. I feel like the choice is money in shorts every time.
yes, I would say that's a tough thing to turn away, especially the kind of money they throw at, because the major championships and a few other ones, PGA will have a $20 million, $25 million purse. Live, that's every tournament. So guys, and there's no cuts on Live. So if you're in the tournament, you're getting paid.
Is Live on TV? Like I've never.
Yeah, it's on. I think the WB or CW. I don't even know what they are anymore.
So how do they afford all that?
Saudi Arabia, they own it.
There it is.
It's the PIP. It's their their investment fund.
Is Live
PIF.
bigger? Is Live bigger internationally than the PGA?
Live's a little bit bigger international because they were able to get, I think, a few more of the European stars over there because
Shorts and money.
Shorts and money, but also, for some of our stars, the PGA is obviously the biggest. But on top of that, the whole thing with 9/11, Saudi Arabia, the Europeans, while they recognize what a horrible day it was, it doesn't have the same connotation as for our players as it does.
Is that going away, you feel like, though?
Yeah, I think it is now. I think a lot of that is. Because they're trying to, sports wash the world, essentially. But, they've got the World Cup coming up. And one of the things, we'll see what this really like. But they told everybody after us, they get the World Cup. Okay, you get to host the World Cup, but you've got to allow it to be the World Cup. People are coming here from all over the world. They want to drink. They want to party. They want to have fun. It's 5.5 weeks of party. They said, great, they got the World Cup. They said there will be no drinking in the country, period.
Really?
Budweiser's your biggest sponsor. You think they're going to like that? They're not going to allow you to even drink in the stadium.
And that was supposed to be baked into the cake that you were going to let that fly?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, they try.
You can almost respect it to a certain extent, though.
Well, don't lie to me.
This is true.
Like, if you told me up front, okay, but don't lie to get some of these things.
But isn't that in the book that they're allowed to lie to you?
That is it. But only to convert you to Islam, right?
That's in the book, though.
Only to convert you.
But they got you there.
Well, it doesn't say anything about the World Cup. Like, hey, check it out. You can lie to get the World Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see if what FIFA does and if they put pressure on them and tell them they're going to move it somewhere else.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. What do you got coming up on the show today?
That was it. That's what we were going to talk about that. I'm done. I'm going to go. We'll talk a little trade.
Looks like you're going to need to update this show too, baby.
Who knows what Trump will do between now and the time we switch places.
Yeah, fair enough. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.